Hey guys, welcome to the We Need to Calm Down podcast. I'm Devin.
And I'm Joe.
And this is the show where we talk about all things Taylor Swift.
That's right. This is the show where two friends finally get to let their dedication to our Lord and Savior, Taylor Swift, fly.
We'll be discussing everything from song breakdowns, Taylor news, and our insane fan theories.
That's right. And we didn't come up with any banter beforehand. So this is really awkward. Devin, we're in the same room.
Yes, that's our banter. Wow. What are we wearing?
We're wearing our shirts.
Wow, look at this merch. Look at this.
This merch that no one can buy except for us.
No, but if you want it, send us a DM. Say, you know what? I know it's not on sale, but I really like those shirts. Yeah, we have our official We Need to Calm Down shirts with the original logo, not the folklore adjusted logo.
I'm not going to lie. I missed the original logo.
The original logo is a lot more colorful, but we are in some dark, depressive times, so we had to reflect.
Yeah, I'm sad about it.
But yeah, so this is the second time we're doing an in-person shoot, basically.
I'm really excited about it. I love doing in-person podcasts more than I do virtual.
Well, it's nice because you can actually assess how the other person's going to talk. Like, we're not like talking over each other, and you can feel the vibe. The vibes are more immaculate. So we have these podcast mics set up to our IKEA dining room table. My roommate is setting up a printer in the other room. It's a fantastic time.
We're having a great time. It's awesome. We just finished our Typical Tuesday episode, and we are now on Typical Thursday. So what are we talking about on this atypical Thursday night?
Atypical Thursday. So for this week's song breakdown, we are going to be analyzing August, which is track 8 off of Folklore.
Ooh, appropriate. August is the 8th month, and track 8, what is happening?
Wow.
Illuminati confirmed?
We'll get into that in a second. So let's go over some quick facts about the song. So it was only featured in the Saltbox House chapter. It was not in any other chapter.
That's so nuts.
August in the Saltbox House. It's Salt Air, Saltbox House, bada bing, bada boom, we're done. Let's talk about our rankings. So from episode 25, when we did our rankings and our friends' rankings, where did it stand for you?
It fell 8 for me.
It's appropriate 8. Like 7 was my 7th, but no, you're wrong.
Yeah, I'm very wrong.
In terms of the numbers, it works out, but I disagree. This is my number one song.
That's insane to me.
It's so good.
Didn't we pick this song in our before we even heard it? We saw the track listing and we both said August is going to be one of our favorite songs.
I feel like we say that about every song though.
Yeah, but I feel like
like
it was
Mirrorball. Oh, that's going to be a good one.
I didn't say that.
Well, yeah, but I did like it. So
for like 5 minutes, you liked it.
I liked it for a couple weeks. Calm down.
No, but I feel like we did. I feel like August was like one we were just like, I don't know why, but that's gonna be one that we're gonna gravitate towards. And I was afraid that we were gonna do it just based solely on having said that. But I'm happy that we were kind of right. And I do think 8 is way too low for this song for me. I don't want to do another rankings episode. No. Never again.
We'll do something on social media to update you maybe in a couple more weeks. So, another quick fact about the song. Go.
It debuted at number 23 on Billboard's Hot 100 during the chart week of August 8th, 2020.
Wow, how appropriate.
And 8 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 is 12. It's nothing.
Okay. I was going to say math numbers in my head go fast. I don't know. Brain no compute. So merch. She released the August Slipped Away collection, which had a bunch of different things. She had the Like a Bottle of Wine long sleeve shirt that was not a part of that collection. There was the August Slipped Away hourglass.
That was such a weird merch.
The hourglass? I wanted to buy that hourglass to have as a little knickknack, but I don't have the space for knickknacks.
Well, the other thing is, not to dig Taylor because I love her to death and want her to meet me one day and love me back, but her merch, I don't trust stuff like that. I'm wearing her hat. This hat is very nice. I great purchase. But I bought the mug, and I think I complained about this on a recent episode too. But it was just very tiny, $20 for like a metal mug.
It's like a camper's mug.
It was weird. I wasn't a fan, so I don't know if I would have trusted an hourglass from that store. I think I'm gonna stick to t-shirts and only because I've heard nothing but bad things about the sweaters too.
Well, at least there's socks.
Thank you for joining us on Shopping with Taylor.
There's some socks, though, that you got.
I did. I bought 2 pairs of socks from Taylor's line. There were socks that had the lyrics, for the hope of it all and cancel plans just in case you call. Those are 2 of my favorite lyrics. Obsessed over those lyrics. So there was no way I wasn't going to buy them. I still have yet to receive them, though.
There's the August Slipped Away hoodie, and then the Meet Me Behind the Mall album. So this song was marketed a lot in her merch
Meet Me
collection.
Behind the Mall album?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the picture for that one? Because there was no mall.
I think it was just like something that she was doing. Okay. I looked it up.
Okay.
Yes. Just believe me.
I believe you.
Yeah. So this is also, fun fact, one of Jack Antonoff's favorite things that they have done together between this song and then My Tears Ricochet. Both great songs.
That's interesting because I'm trying to. We've been singing this song nonstop for the last 2 days.
Yes.
And I can't think of Jack's influence on this song. You'll get it. Oh, you'll tell me. I know you'll tell me, but I can't for the life of me. Like if you told me what would you think is Jack's influence on the song, where would you point it? I think I heard you mention Scoops. Mm-hmm. But I can't even think of where they are. So we'll get into that later, though.
Yes. All right. So let's go into some context about the song.
What? This is a love triangle song.
Oh.
5 equidistant down from Betty, 5 equidistant up from Cardigan.
Yes.
We just did a lot of talk about the love triangle, so we're not going to get too deep into it. You can listen to episode 26 and 27. That's right. It's a 2-parter.
Ooh. 2. That's more than
in-person
one.
podcasting is so much more fun. We're just like, we're so electric. It's great.
Yes.
This is James's Unnamed Mistress song.
Mm-hmm.
We did mention in the love triangle that there's no de facto confirmation that this is one of them, but it's one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the Folklore album prologue, Swift says the album is inspired by the sun-drenched month of August, sipped away like a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Let's get into this when we go
Oscar
into the
Del
lyrics.
Wilde, get out of here. I don't think his middle name is Del. I think it's just Oscar Wilde.
I think it's Oscar Wilde, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
We are back
Yes.
to dive out some lyrics.
Dive into the lyrics that jumped out to us.
All right.
Before we even get into the lyric, I think that this is very important to note. It's a little bit later in our notes, but I'm going to bring it out now. I'm dumb. Just putting it out there. I am not the smartest cookie.
Oh my gosh, this is
in
incredible.
the pantry.
Usually I'm the one that says that.
Yes, but so it never clicked in my head. Maybe it's because I used to have a lisp. I don't know. Maybe that's, I'm going to blame it on that. I'm going to blame it on my trauma with that. I did not realize August slipped away and August sipped away. I didn't realize those were 2 different words. And it makes so much more sense now. Sipped away. I thought she said August slipped away like a bottle of wine. Like the bottle is slippery and then it slipped away.
Is a very known fact about bottles of wine. Very slippery. They always recommend you wear your rubber gloves when handling.
But sipped away
it was
makes
so
much more sense.
Because we were sitting here last night in Devin's beautiful apartment.
Thank you.
And we were doing the notes for all the episodes we were going to record today. And Devin just looks over and goes, August sipped away. And I was like, what? And you're like, it's sipped away. And I was
like the, have you seen the TikTok of meteor versus meteor?
No.
Oh, I'll have to show that to you later. But it's basically like meteor, like meteor. No, meteor. It's like sipped, slipped, sipped. That's basically how I feel right now. So I didn't know that. And now I feel dumb. But everything makes a lot more sense now.
The one thing I will say, too, that not to like pile on here, but one of the main like things that we've noted time and time again throughout all of our song breakdowns and all of our talks about this album that like is nuts to me and that I try to mention as much as possible is I love that in choruses in this album, it's very rare that we get the verbatim same chorus from the first to the second. So you see she does switch up lines. Like she does say slipped away at one point, and then she changes it to sipped away.
No, that's in every chorus.
Devin, I'm trying to make a point.
Well, I'm trying to break down your point because I don't want to be that dumb. All right, let's go into it.
Okay.
First lyric.
I really want to look it up now, though.
First lyric, salt air and the rust on your door. So you hear the salt air, you're imagining a beach probably. It's this imagery of a summer fling, basically, right there. And something that I thought was really interesting when I looked into it more, and the rust on your door. A door is an entryway. And then rust is metal that deteriorates rapidly, much like a summer thing could deteriorate rapidly.
Interesting. I know this one stood out to me because like it was so weird that she introed 2 songs in this record with rust like very quickly off the bat.
What was the second one?
The second one is rust. Car is your car rust or something? Yeah, no. So the next song, "This Is Me Trying," it's the same thing. Like that she starts the song with "Salt Air" and the rust on your door, and then "This Is Me Trying" she starts with "I had the shiniest wheels, now they're rusting." And it was just so weird that like, and they're right next to each other, back to back songs, and it's just like rust, and I'm like, all right, what is with this rust?
All right.
Sorry, it is a weird thing for me.
Next line, whispers of "Are you sure? Never have I ever before." The implications of this line. Is it sexual? Like, is it losing virginities? Is it asking if they're sure about starting this affair? Or is it the party game, never have I ever?
I don't think it's that.
Well, they're young. They're teenagers.
They
it's like
are.
a common thing for kids to, oh, never have I ever.
Before. That's how I'm going to play Never Have I Ever for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Now that I'm too old to play that game. I love every time I hear Never Have I Ever Before, I think my stars. like
never have I ever before.
Like a suggestion that's just like, oh, what? But I like the implications of this, and like the wording that she chooses and the delivery that she has. It does make me think of like kids in the basement of a house together playing like Spin the Bottle, playing 7 Minutes in Heaven, and then like you see them 2 in the closet with 7 Minutes in Heaven. Like, are you sure? Like just like keeping quiet so the kids outside the closet don't hear.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're also older than.
I mean, they're probably like high school.
I wasn't cool in high school. Did people play?
Well, I wasn't either, but that was a thing apparently. The next line, but I can see us lost in the memory. And this is such an overlooked line, but it's like a supercut of them. You're lost in the memory. You're getting lost in their time together. It's just in your head.
Devin, any excuse to bring up the word supercut.
Any excuse to talk about my Lord.
Oh my God.
Lord.
I actually I didn't realize this, and I like that you put like this an overlooked line because it is one. Like it's a great line, but it's something I never really think about.
Because you're just it goes instantly into the chorus of and you're just into the groove.
I like the word play here too, because like a lost memory, but I can see it. Like it's such an interesting concept of like this memory is fleeting, but I'm in it right now. But it's going to be gone. But is it already gone while I'm in? Like, there's just like a lot of play there that I really like. That's really good.
And then another lyric, back when we were still changing for the better. What a scream-worthy lyric. I can't
get over it. I will never get over that lyric. It's so good. Back when we were still changing for the better.
Yeah.
Ugh. And is that the intro to the bridge? Yeah. She does a lot of like the beginning of a bridge is just a very scream-worthy line in this album.
Yeah.
The next lines, I think these are the ones I put in. Yeah. So I have 2 that were kind of similar, "Cause you weren't mine to lose" and "Cause you were never mine." Like those are they're very similar, but I do like a couple of things here. I like that we have "were" and "weren't," but they mean the same thing here. You weren't mine to lose. Implying that what does that imply?
You weren't mine to lose?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I want to say about that. You weren't mine to lose. So the fun implication about this, fun being because infidelity is fun, it's not. Anyway, the thing that's interesting is she knows that she lost him, but there was another person that was going to lose him too. Because she knew, because I mean, if you find out you're the mistress on something, you can't imagine.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the relationship that was happening is gone too. But I love that "you were never mine." Like they're just like an interesting couplet of rhymes. Like you were never mine, and you weren't even mine to lose.
Yeah.
Like, you had a whole other person that was going to lose you, and I was barely a blip on that radar.
Mm-hmm. Big sad. The next lyric, remember when I pulled up and said, get in the car? I think it's a really cool mistress to see this song compared to James, like the perspectives of, you know, she said, James, get in, let's drive, versus remember when I pulled up and said, get in the car. I think it's just a very interesting way to see the two different perspectives on how that situation came to be.
And how that event transpired.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love that line. I think that is the poster child for when she said, I put the Easter eggs in the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear her say that, or you think that, that is the first line that jumps into my head, because it is just so, it is a carbon copy of the other one. And I think that's really cool to put those in two different songs. And then I have my two sock lyrics, because for the hope of it all, there's just something about it, and then the way that it repeats at the end, just for the hope of it all, like she just keeps saying it and saying it. I love the sentiment behind it, and then the other one that, like, cancel plans just in case you call, just like really hits home for me, because there are just like times where I feel that it with a certain way with certain people. Like, do you remember the episode of How I Met Your Mother, The Hook?
Yes.
Where the whole premise of the episode is that people have each other on their quote-unquote hooks, where at a moment's notice they can call them and they know they'll drop everything for them and hang out with them. And there's like this like weird tension of like, they're in love with you, but you're not that in love with them. That's what this line reminds me of. Like, like the girl who's on the hook, like if she says, let's do something, I'll cancel everything, drop what I'm doing, and you're the one I'm going to put all my focus on, when you know the other person would not do that for you. And I don't get the feeling that James would do that for
not at all.
For No Name here.
Good old No Name.
Good old No Name.
No way he would do that for her.
So that's one of the things that I really gravitate towards that line a lot, because I think there's just so much power in it. And we know Taylor Swift, I think she's a How I Met Your Mother fan, isn't she?
She's a what?
Is she a How I Met Your Mother fan?
Who?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift? I don't know.
I would imagine, right? She's got to be.
I mean, probably.
She's got to be. She's got to be.
Who knows?
Taylor, if you're listening.
Let us know. Send us a DM like, yeah, I am. We'll know exactly what you mean. Yes.
So, Devin, teach me about music again, and I swear if you make that joke.
Music. Okay, so the music behind the lyrics. The song has a runtime of 4 minutes, 22 seconds. It is in F major. It is 90 BPM, so on that lower end of the spectrum again. Yeah. Instruments. There's a keyboard. There's strings, electric guitar, flute, saxophone, synth bass, regular bass, guitar, and percussion.
What the heck is the saxophone and flute?
It's very, very subtle. Okay. You know where the da-na-na-na-na, boom. It's probably somewhere in there. Just atmospheric.
Did you just sing August? Is that from August?
Yeah.
I feel dumb now. I'm taking over the dumb from you.
Okay. Thank you. It's transferred now. So Jack Antonoff co-wrote and produced the song with Taylor. And let's get into the actual song itself. So there's this cool, weird little like buzzy intro where it's like, wow, wow, wow. And you're just like, where am I? And then there's just like the guitar, like the salt air. And then something really interesting. When she does say salt air, right afterwards, you hear this weird like wind sound. Like you feel like you're
breeze.
Yeah, it's like a nice breeze. Like you feel like you're outside at a beach, and you're just like. Whew.
That's just another thing with this production. Like this is how she makes you feel like you're watching a movie.
Yeah, it's the imagery.
And you don't even realize it.
It's so subtle but great. And then after Never Have I Ever Before, right when you're going into the chorus, that the I can see is. You're just transported into it. It's like everything just kind of amplifies just a little bit and you're there. It's great. But it's a very dreamy-esque song. It sounds like this twangy, like 50s influence, surf influenced at times. Like
it. You know what's weird? Tell me if you feel this way too. But the way that I vision the song, if there was a music video, I would feel like there are lots of like to the floor curtains with an open window, like a very like seat like and it's just like blowing and breezing like those curtains, and like you're just like lost, like the Twisted in Bed Sheets kind of reminds me of it, but like you just see these like flowy curtains and like you're just getting lost in the folds of all these like flowy curtains. That's how I like. That always hits my head when I'm listening to it.
This song just makes me think of like back in the day, like in the 50s when it was like everything was just glamorized and she has this long flowy dress and these big sunglasses and she pulls up and she's like, you know, remember when I pulled up and said get in the car? And I just picture them like driving down like a freeway like next to a beach and like the hair is flowing and they're laughing and ha ha ha. And
Down the 405.
sure.
It's the the California highway.
Oh. Well, they're in New York though, potentially.
Potential. Oh, well, there's a Rhode Island highway, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. But so basically, I picture this happening at a beach, and then like maybe inside at some parts, and like a little bit darker of a theme. But I think that the end.
There's a lot of sunlight in this song.
Yes, a lot of sunlight, a lot of dreamy, vinaigrette kind of.
Vinaigrette. Nice.
Yeah, did I say that right?
I think it's vignette.
Vignette. I was gonna say vignette. I was
thinking vinaigrette goes on a salad.
Yes. I'm taking the dumb back. All right.
We're playing volleyball with the dumb at this point.
The strings in the song really pop off at times. In between the chorus to the second verse and then the end of the song, they just really like, you're like, ooh, this feels very romantic. And, you know, strings really emulate that romantic sound. And you were talking about the Jack Antonoff scoop. So
not an ice cream parlor. For
those of you who have not listened to our other episodes when we reference the Jack Antonoff scoop, he has a reputation of scooping up the lyrics or the sound at the end of a word. So I'm trying to think of Getaway Car, she does it.
Getaway Car does it.
Old Fashioned We Were Cursed. You never had a chance. Yeah. And then
she does it in the one that like always stands out to me is Off to the Races by Lana Del Rey, which we don't really want to talk about her. But there's like the Off to the Races, Place It, like that's
Did he produce that song?
Yes,
yeah,
he did.
of course he
yes,
did.
He did.
Of course he did. But so in this song, August slipped away and she just like scoops up and that's the Jack Antonoff scoop.
TM.
Yes, trademarked. She harmonizes with herself throughout the song with this like lighter voice. Again, head voice. She's not really belting anything until You Weren't Mine to Lose, but it's not a belt.
No.
It's not. She uses this album, she does not use her chest voice. Like
she's not really belting. You're not running away from your father after you ate a cookie you shouldn't have eaten. No, there's no belt involved.
Oh my. Oh my.
That was a really long walk to get to that joke.
A drink of water. And then at the end of the song, the second, remember when I pulled up and said get in the car.
Is that where like everything
and
converges?
Then canceled and you're just like boom and then you're just
that is such a powerful, insane part of this song.
The dynamics just pop off and you're like, what just happened?
Because you get like it's like when you're at the ocean, like the water like recedes a lot and then it just comes and hits you all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that part, like if you're driving and you have this song cranked, you will subconsciously go from driving 30 miles an hour to driving 60 somehow. Yeah. Like you just like you just speed up and get into it.
There's always a little audible or just the headbang. Just remember when I pulled up and said get in the car and then
like you just like
so
get into it like and
yes.
it's subconscious too because you don't expect it and it comes out of nowhere but then you just feel it and it's like you're getting drawn in by that wave and you just like go with it.
Yeah. And then immediately after you have that, when she's saying, you know, for the hope of it all, just echoing at the end, very longing, it's just so dreamy and romantic and extra as hell. Or heck. I don't know which one you want to edit in. But it's a 54-second outro, which is crazy long. It's just as long as like the intro to Peace, where you just have these dramatic strings and the boom, boom, boom.
Is there any vocals in it at all?
Nope.
No, like I said, she just gives you so much denouement at the end of
They're just
song.
spinning around in flowy dresses and on the beach, and it's a super cut of them lost in the memory of their times together.
Okay, this is interesting. Have you ever seen the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
I feel like I'm going to expose myself if I say no.
No, I don't explain.
I know the concept of the movie. I've seen clips of it. I have not seen the full movie, but I understand the concept and like what happens.
Me and Dev are going to watch that today. But if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Jim Carrey's best performance in the world. Kate Winslet. I think Ethan Hawke is not a person. Either way, Mark Ruffalo's in it. Kirsten Dunst is in it, and then the other guy that's in Lord of the Rings. But very, very phenomenal movie. But at the end of that movie, they're at a beach in Montauk in the winter, and it's just on loop them playing when I say on loop, like they're like running around, he throws snow in her face, and then it just like cuts back to when he was in the beginning, running around, throws snow in her face, cuts back to the beginning, runs around, throws snow in her face. And like when you say these at the end, you get like that like kids running around and just like that is exact. Now that you say it, that I'm gonna think that every time I hear this song.
Yeah. Every
time, and you've ruined and improved it.
Okay.
For me, you reproved it.
Reproved it. Yes. Okay. Great. Well, is there anything you want to surmise, say in closing?
I'm upset where I ended the song. It's really good. The lyrics are incredible. The story is really good. Like I said, that second reprise with "Remember When I Pulled Up" is just so iconic.
It really is.
It's so good. And that's where like that is like the one where I remember hearing production and thinking about production when it came out. I did this song dirty, and I apologize.
It's okay. I forgive you. And I don't know if the audience will, but you let us know. Do you forgive Joe for his heinous crimes against August?
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what I was thinking. But before we close this episode, Devin, do you have anything?
No.
All right, cool.
I still think it's my number one song.
Nothing has changed. All right. Before we close this episode, I am sure everyone, again, has heard it a million times, and we keep repeating it. We just want to encourage everyone to vote if you haven't already. Make sure you do have a voting plan and know where your local polling place is and plan to get there on time.
Yes, the election is this next coming Typical Tuesday. Oof. So for that reason, we will not release an episode for that day or week. We'll be back the next following Typical Tuesday for our regularly scheduled programming.
That's right. We are going to take a quick break. But if you liked this episode, if you like what you hear, be sure to give us a review. Rate us 5 stars on Apple. If you have a friend that's a Swiftie, or you want to get someone into Swift and have people telling you she's not good, we'll tell her.
Yes.
Or him. We'll tell them.
We'll tell them. Yes.
We'll tell them she's good. Just show them that one part where we say she's good.
This part is for you. All right, and be sure to follow us on social media. We're on everything. YouTube, you can subscribe to us there. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at We Need to Calm Down Podcast, or WNTCD Podcast on Twitter.
If you have a suggestion for an episode, leave us a comment or a DM. We love hearing from you guys, and we love listening to your suggestions.
Yeah, aside for that, thank you for listening to the We Need to Calm Down Podcast. See you in 2 weeks. Go vote.
Come back.
We'll be here.